Chosen one, what I'm about to share may surprise you, even shock you. It may challenge everything you've believed about yourself, it may even make you emotional, but it is the truth that you need to hear today. If you are watching this video right now, let me tell you, this is not random. This is not a coincidence. God has orchestrated this very moment for you. He has placed this message in your path because He needs you to hear it. This is your confirmation. This is the sign you have been waiting for. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, you just don't seem to fit in? Like you were never meant to follow the crowd, but you couldn't quite understand why? Have you ever looked around and wondered why your journey has been so much harder than others? Why doors seem to close when you were so close to stepping through? Why people you loved turned against you? Why you faced rejection, setbacks, and loneliness while others seemed to move forward with ease? Let me tell you why. Only 2% will succeed. Not because the other 98% aren't smart enough, not because they aren't capable enough, but because they don't listen. They don't endure. They don't trust the process that God has placed before them. When things get hard, they give up. When storms come, they question God instead of standing firm in faith. They let fear control them. They allow the weight of their trials to break them instead of seeing them as part of God's refining process. But you are different. You are here because you are not like the 98% who fall away. You are here because you have been set apart, chosen for something greater. Do you feel it? That stirring in your soul. That knowing deep inside of you that says, there is more for me. That's not your imagination. That's God's calling on your life. He is shifting things in your favor. He is moving mountains that you cannot even see yet. What you have been praying for, longing for, believing for, it is coming. Not in the distant future, not as some far-off dream, but now. You are stepping into a season where what you once hoped for will become your reality. This is more than just a change in mindset, this is a spiritual transformation. This is divine alignment. But let me ask you, are you ready? Are you truly ready for what God has been preparing for you? Because stepping into this calling will not be easy. The closer you get to your breakthrough, the harder the enemy will try to stop you. The more you align with your divine purpose, the more distractions, challenges, and resistance will come your way. But here's what you need to know: if you remain steadfast, if you refuse to be shaken, if you hold on to God's promises, you will not just survive, you will thrive. You will rise above. You will step into the 2% who endure, who overcome, and who walk fully in the purpose God created them for. If you know in your heart that you are being prepared for something greater, declare it now. Drop a comment below and say, I am chosen. Let this be your moment of alignment. Let this be your declaration of faith. Because when you speak it, when you claim it, you send a signal to the universe that you are ready to receive what God has for you. And if you haven't already, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. This is not just another video, this is a movement. A movement of chosen ones stepping into their divine calling together. We are on the path to building a community of 10,000 strong, a place where those who are set apart can come together, encourage each other, and walk this journey in faith. If you feel this message resonating in your soul, don't keep it to yourself. Be part of what God is building here. What I am about to share next is even more powerful, because it will reveal why your journey has been filled with so much opposition. It will help you understand the purpose behind your struggles and the reason why you had to walk this path alone. Stay with me, because what comes next will change the way you see everything. Let's go deeper. The path of the chosen is never easy. If you've ever felt like your journey is filled with obstacles, setbacks, and trials that seem unbearable, know this: you are not alone. Every person who has ever been called by God for something great has faced the fire. Joseph was betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, and thrown into prison before he rose to power in Egypt. David was overlooked, underestimated, and spent years running for his life before he became king. Even Jesus himself was rejected, mocked, and crucified before his victory was revealed. This is the pattern. This is the refining process. And this is why only 2% make it. Most people will not endure. The weight of the trials will break them. They will seek comfort over purpose. They will give in to fear instead of stepping forward in faith. The 98% will stumble because they do not trust the process. They complain when things get hard, they resist when doors close, and they turn away when the journey becomes painful. But not you. If you are still here, if you are listening to this, then you are not like the 98% who fall away. You are here because God has placed something inside of you that refuses to quit. Think about your own journey. Have you ever wondered why life has been so difficult? Why you've faced rejection, betrayal, and hardship when all you were trying to do was walk in your purpose? It's because God has been testing you, preparing you, refining you for something bigger than you can see. Many people pray for greatness, but few are willing to go through what it takes to receive it. Your struggles are not a sign of failure, they are proof that you are being prepared for elevation. But let me ask you, will you endure? Will you hold on to faith when everything in you wants to give up? Will you trust God's plan even when you don't understand it? This is what separates the chosen from the rest. This is the test. And if you refuse to quit, if you refuse to let fear and doubt take control, you will step into the 2% who rise above. If you feel this message stirring something deep in your spirit, declare it now. Drop a comment below and say, I will endure. Let this be your moment of confirmation, your declaration of faith that no matter what comes, you will not be shaken. And if you haven't already, join this community of chosen ones. Subscribe and be part of something greater, a movement of those who refuse to fall away, who stand firm in their purpose, and who walk boldly in God's plan. We are building a community of 10,000 strong, a place for those who know they are set apart. If you've ever felt like you were walking this journey alone, know that you are not. This is your home. What I'm about to share next will help you understand why your journey has been filled with opposition and how to turn every setback into a stepping stone. Because those who pass the test don't just survive, they thrive. Let's go deeper. Every wound, every disappointment, every rejection, it wasn't meant to break you. It was meant to build you. The pain you have endured was never a punishment, it was preparation. It was a lesson wrapped in hardship, a stepping stone disguised as a setback. The world may have made you feel like you were losing, but in God's eyes, you have been winning all along. You have been walking through the fire, not to be consumed, but to be refined, to come out stronger, wiser, and more resilient than ever before. Look at David. Before he was crowned king, he was just a shepherd, overlooked and dismissed by his own family. When the prophet Samuel came to anoint the next king of Israel, David's own father didn't even consider him worthy of being called into the room. But what men reject, God selects. While others doubted, God saw greatness in David, and through every trial, facing Goliath, running for his life from Saul, hiding in caves, David was being molded into the king he was meant to be. The process wasn't easy, but it was necessary. And your process is no different. The trials you are facing right now, they are not proof that you are failing. They are proof that you are being prepared. The people who turned against you, the doors that shut in your face, the battles that feel too heavy to fight, these are not signs that you should quit. They are signs that you are being refined, that you are stepping into something greater than you can imagine. Many people give up when things get hard. They see obstacles as barriers instead of opportunities. They let fear dictate their choices, and they allow failure to define them. That is why only a few, only the truly chosen, rise above. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not whether or not they experience hardship. Everyone faces difficulties. The difference is in how they respond. The chosen ones don't let pain paralyze them. They don't retreat when they face resistance. They don't allow doubt to steal their destiny. Instead, they lean in. They trust the process. They understand that God is using their struggles to shape them for something they cannot yet see. So now, I ask you, will you be part of the 98% who give up, or will you rise into the 2% who press forward, who endure, who step fully into their calling? Will you allow hardship to define you, or will you use it to refine you? This is your moment to declare who you are. Drop a comment and say, I am ready for what God is preparing me for. Let this be your confirmation, your bold stand of faith, that you will not quit, that you will trust God even when the path is unclear. If this message is stirring something inside of you, it's because God is speaking to you right now. He is calling you to walk boldly, to hold your head high, to recognize that your trials are not punishments, they are part of the divine plan. You are being prepared for something bigger than you can see. And you are not alone. There is a community of chosen ones rising together, walking this path of faith, standing strong in their purpose. If you are ready to go deeper, if you are ready to step fully into what God has for you, make sure you are connected. Subscribe and become part of this movement. We are building something powerful, something unstoppable, a gathering of those who refuse to settle, who refuse to be broken by life's trials, who know they are chosen for something greater. And now, prepare yourself. Because what I'm about to share next will reveal exactly why the enemy has been fighting you so hard and how you can turn every attack into the very thing that catapults you into your destiny. This is the moment that changes everything. Get ready. The difference between the 2% who rise and the 98% who remain stuck is not luck, talent, or circumstances, it is the ability to transform vision into reality. The truly chosen understand that they are not victims of their environment, they are creators of their destiny. While others wait for life to change, they step forward in faith, knowing that God has already given them everything they need to bring their dreams to life. Think about it. When Joseph was thrown into the pit by his own brothers, when he was sold into slavery, when he was unjustly imprisoned, did he lose sight of the vision God placed in his heart? No. He held on to the dream, even when everything around him looked like a nightmare. He understood a powerful truth: the vision God gives you is not a fantasy, it is a promise. And those who have the faith to believe, even when circumstances say otherwise, will see that promise unfold before their very eyes. What about you? Have you been doubting your vision because of temporary setbacks? Have you let fear, negativity, or the opinions of others pull you away from what you know deep down is meant for you? The chosen ones do not allow doubt to dictate their lives. They do not speak defeat over their circumstances. They do not allow fear to shape their decisions. Instead, they align their thoughts, their words, and their actions with what God has already promised them. The truth is, your life right now is a reflection of the thoughts you've been thinking, the words you've been speaking, and the beliefs you've been holding. Every great move of God starts with a spoken word. In Genesis, before anything existed, God spoke the world into being. Let there be light, and there was light. And because you were created in His image, you carry that same power. What you speak, what you declare, what you focus on, that is what will manifest in your life. So let me ask you, what have you been telling yourself? Have you been speaking life over your situation, or have you been reinforcing negativity? Have you been declaring God's promises over your future, or have you been dwelling on fear and failure? The 2% who succeed are those who master their thoughts, their words, and their focus. They don't entertain doubt. They don't dwell in anxiety. They walk with the certainty that if God said it, then it must come to pass. This is the power of faith. Not wishful thinking. Not blind hope. But the absolute knowing that what God has promised, He will fulfill. The chosen ones understand this. They speak with authority. They move with confidence. They do not wait for permission to step into greatness, they claim it as their birthright. Now, take a moment and reflect. What are you believing for? What vision has God placed in your heart? Are you holding on to it with the faith of Joseph, or are you allowing fear and delay to convince you it's impossible? If you are truly chosen, you know that delay is not denial, it is preparation. The promise is still yours, but you must hold on to it with unwavering belief. If you're ready to declare your faith, drop a comment and say, "I am walking in God's promises." Let this be your stand, your declaration, your moment of alignment with what is already set in motion for you. And as you do, prepare yourself, because what I'm about to reveal next will show you why so many give up right before the breakthrough and how you can ensure you don't make the same mistake. The enemy fights hardest when you are closest to victory. Are you ready to see why? Keep watching. When God calls you, He equips you. He does not choose you without also giving you the power, the authority, and the divine protection to fulfill the purpose He has set before you. Many people struggle through life, feeling powerless against their circumstances, but the chosen ones, those who truly walk in alignment with God, operate under a different reality. They step into a realm where what seemed impossible before suddenly becomes possible. They begin to see doors open that no man could shut, and obstacles that once seemed insurmountable begin to move out of their way. Think of Moses standing before the Red Sea with an entire nation behind him and an enemy army closing in. To the natural eye, there was no way out. But Moses was not operating in the natural, he was moving in divine authority. He did not panic. He did not surrender to fear. Instead, he lifted his staff, obeyed God's command, and the sea parted before him. This is what happens when you trust God completely. You do not need to figure everything out, you just need to move in obedience, and He will make a way where there was no way. Chosen one, do you realize the power that is within you? Do you understand that when you walk with God, you are no longer limited by human strength? The world operates on struggle, doubt, and limitation, but you operate under divine favor, divine guidance, and divine protection. Your faith is the key that unlocks the supernatural. When you align with God's will, you will begin to witness miracles not just in your own life, but also in the lives of those around you. But this power comes with responsibility. You must master your emotions. The enemy knows he cannot take away the power that God has given you, so instead, he tries to distract you. He tries to make you react emotionally, to lose your peace, to engage in pointless arguments, to allow negativity to consume your mind. But the chosen ones do not react, they respond with wisdom. They do not let the enemy manipulate them through emotions. They do not allow temporary circumstances to dictate their decisions. Instead, they stand firm, unshaken, knowing that their steps are ordered by the Lord. This is why Jesus, even when he was falsely accused, beaten, and betrayed, did not lash out in anger. He did not allow his emotions to take control, he stayed focused on the mission, on the higher calling. And because of that, he fulfilled his divine purpose and changed the world forever. What about you? Are you allowing emotions to control your life, or are you stepping into the authority that God has given you? Are you reacting to negativity, or are you standing firm in faith? Drop a comment and declare, "I walk in God's power." Let this be your affirmation that from this moment forward, you are no longer controlled by circumstances, you are moving in divine strength. And as you embrace this truth, get ready, because what I'm about to share next will reveal why the enemy fights hardest against those who are on the brink of breakthrough. Many give up right before their victory. Are you ready to ensure that won't be you? Keep watching. Not everyone will enter the place of divine abundance, but for those who remain faithful, who endure, and who refuse to surrender to fear, a life beyond their greatest imagination awaits them. The road is narrow, the journey is long, and only 2% will push through until the end. But those who do, those who refuse to quit, who keep their eyes on God, who press forward despite the trials, they will walk into a season of victory unlike anything they have ever seen. Chosen one, are you ready? This is not just another question, this is a divine moment, a moment where you must search deep within yourself and decide, will you be one of the few who hold on, or will you fall away like so many others? You have been tested, you have been refined by fire, you have endured seasons of pain that others could not bear. And yet, here you are, still standing, still believing, still moving forward. That is not a coincidence. That is proof of who you are. But before the breakthrough comes the final test. The moment when everything in you will be tempted to give up, when doubt will whisper that it's too late, that it's too hard, that you are not strong enough. This is the defining moment that separates the 2% from the 98%. The 98% will not fail because they weren't chosen, but because they didn't trust the process. They allowed fear to stop them. They let the voices of doubt drown out the voice of God. They looked at their circumstances and forgot the promises. They quit when the finish line was just around the corner. But the chosen ones, the 2%, are different. They do not break under pressure, they do not run from the storm. They walk through it, knowing that on the other side, their destiny is waiting. They understand that God's plan is greater than the pain of the present moment. They trust when there is no evidence, they believe when there is no proof, and because of that, they step into a reality that others can only dream of. Think of Noah, who spent years building an ark when there was no sign of rain. People laughed, they mocked, they ridiculed. But Noah did not stop, because he knew his obedience mattered more than their opinions. When the rain came, it was he who stood inside the ark while those who doubted perished. Think of Joseph, who was betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and thrown into prison. He could have given up. He could have lost faith. But Joseph held on, and in one moment, God lifted him from the pit to the palace. Think of Job, who lost everything, his family, his wealth, his health. He had every reason to walk away from God. But instead, he worshipped, and because of that, God restored him with double what he had lost. And now, I ask you, what is your test? What have you been asked to endure? What trials have you faced that tried to break you? Have you ever felt like everything was against you? Like no matter how hard you tried, life kept knocking you down? Have you ever questioned if you could keep going? If so, you are not alone. Every chosen one has faced this battle. But what separates those who rise from those who fall is not the size of the battle, but the strength of their faith. If you have ever been through something that tested your faith, I invite you to share your story in the comments. Let this be a space where the chosen ones stand together, where we lift each other up, where we declare that we will not be part of the 98% who quit, but part of the 2% who rise. And as you reflect on your journey, prepare yourself, because what comes next will reveal why God's greatest rewards always follow life's greatest challenges. Are you ready for what is coming? Keep watching, because your breakthrough is closer than you think. Failure is not simply the result of bad luck or a lack of opportunity. Failure happens when a person chooses to surrender, when they allow fear, doubt, and the negativity of the world to steal what was meant for them. The truth is, most people give up right before their breakthrough. They quit because they don't see immediate results. They turn back because the journey feels too long, too painful, too uncertain. But what if they had just held on a little longer? Have you ever wondered how many people were moments away from success when they walked away? How many doors were about to open but were left shut because someone lost faith? The sad reality is, 98% of people never see their destiny fulfilled, not because they weren't called, but because they refused to endure the process. You see, God never promised the path would be easy, but He did promise it would be worth it. Think of Joseph, betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, imprisoned for a crime he didn't commit. He could have given up. He could have said, "God, this is unfair. I don't want this anymore." But he didn't. He held on. And because he did, he rose from being a slave to ruling over Egypt. His faith turned his suffering into victory. Or think about David. Before he was a king, he was just a shepherd boy, overlooked by everyone, even his own family. When the prophet Samuel came to anoint the next king, David wasn't even invited into the room. But when God calls you, no one can deny your destiny. David was chosen, and even though he had to fight giants, endure betrayal, and run for his life, he held on, and he stepped into his divine purpose. You are no different. Your journey is not an accident. The struggles you face are not random. You are in the middle of your preparation. God is shaping you, refining you, teaching you resilience, patience, and faith. And that means one thing: you cannot give up now. Yes, the enemy will try to make you doubt. People will try to discourage you. Your own fears will whisper, maybe this isn't for me. But that is a lie, because if it wasn't for you, you wouldn't still be here. You wouldn't feel this fire inside of you. You wouldn't be watching this right now. The 98% let their emotions control them. They get discouraged, and instead of pushing forward, they turn back. But the 2%, the ones who are truly chosen, keep moving forward, no matter what. They understand that faith is not just believing when things are easy, faith is trusting even when you can't see the way. So let me ask you, what kind of person will you be? Will you be part of the 98% who quit, who let fear and doubt rob them of their destiny? Or will you be part of the 2%, the ones who refuse to give up, the ones who keep walking even when the road is hard? I want you to declare it right now in the comments: I am part of the 2%. Write it. Speak it. Believe it. Because the moment you do, you are making a declaration, not just to yourself, but to the world, to the enemy, to every obstacle that tries to stand in your way. God is watching. He sees your endurance. He sees your heart. And He is preparing a reward greater than anything you can imagine. But only if you stay faithful. Only if you keep pressing forward. And listen carefully, because what happens next will change everything. You've been tested, refined, and prepared, but now is the moment when your destiny begins to unfold. Stay with me. Because what I'm about to share will open your eyes to the true power that is waiting for you. You are not like the rest. You have been chosen. That is not just a title, it is a divine calling, a purpose greater than what the world can see. God has set you apart for something extraordinary, and no matter what obstacles you have faced, no matter how many times you've been doubted, rejected, or misunderstood, nothing can stop what He has planned for you, unless you walk away from it. The path of the chosen is not easy, but it is worth it. You are not here by accident. You are not watching this video just because. You were brought here for a reason. Deep inside, you can feel it, that pull, that fire, that knowing that you were meant for something more. And now, you stand at a crossroads. Will you step forward in faith, or will you let fear hold you back? The 2% choose faith. They choose resilience. They choose to trust God, even when the road ahead is uncertain. If you know in your heart that you are one of them, declare it right now in the comments: I am ready. Let the world know. Let your spirit know. Let the enemy know that you will not be stopped. And don't keep this to yourself. There are others out there, just like you, who need to hear this message. Share this video. Be the light that guides someone else to their awakening. Be the sign that reminds them they are not alone. Before we close, I want to pray over you. Heavenly Father, I thank you for every soul listening right now. You have chosen them. You have set them apart for a purpose far greater than they can imagine. Lord, I ask that you strengthen them, that you fill them with unwavering faith, that you give them the endurance to keep walking, even when the road is difficult. Break every chain of fear, doubt, and discouragement. Open doors that no man can shut, and let them step into the destiny you have prepared for them. Father, remind them that they are never alone. When they feel weary, lift them up. When they feel lost, guide them. When they feel like giving up, remind them that their breakthrough is near. Surround them with your love, your protection, and your favor. In Jesus' name, Amen. As you leave this video, hold on to this truth: you are chosen, you are called, and you are ready. And in the next video, we are going even deeper into the revelation that will change everything. Stay with me, because your journey is just beginning.